Hello, Bee here. Can you believe we've come to the end of our first environmental science course? We've explored everything from populations of sea otters to Mesosaurus fossils buried in the rock. We've also traced the path of water drops through rivers to the ocean and taken a balloon trip through the layers of the atmosphere. Through all of this, we've seen how the spheres of Earth are connected and how they each make life in our world possible. As part of this last lesson of the course, you'll have a chance to show off all of the amazing knowledge you've gained with an end-of-course assessment. Remember that before you take the assessment, you can always go back and re-watch any of the lesson videos from the course that you might need a little more review on. But first, let's spend a few minutes revisiting some of the things we've learned together. We started our environmental science journey with an introduction to ecology. This was the perfect foundation to give us key concepts in our toolbox as we explored the environment around us. Do you remember how we organized living things in ecology? We looked at the difference between individual organisms, populations, communities, ecosystems, and biomes, all together making up the biosphere. Within ecosystems, we saw that species live in a habitat that they are well adapted to and fulfill a specific role or niche that allows them to be part of the overall energy flow. Remember that the energy flow in an ecosystem can be visually demonstrated with a food web, and that food webs always begin with producers. What unique ability do producers have? They are organisms like plants that can use the sun's energy to make food from inorganic ingredients. It would be very convenient if we could just sit out in the sun for a bit to satisfy our hunger, but unfortunately, humans and other animals do not share this ability with producers. In order to obtain food and avoid predators, many species have developed symbiotic relationships with other species, like bees pollinating flowers or barnacles hitching rides on whales so that they can travel the ocean. But even with adaptations like symbiosis, all organisms will eventually die. When they do, their remains decompose with the help of bacteria and fungi. This process can look and smell unpleasant, but it's critical for life to continue on in the ecosystem, as the nutrients stored within the dead organism need to be recycled and used again by other living organisms. Ecology taught us that everything in nature is connected, and we continue to see this connection as we began to explore the different spheres of Earth. Do you remember the 4 spheres we learned about? Let's quickly review them. The geosphere is the solid landmass of Earth. We saw mountains and valleys and looked at the soil and deep layers of rock beneath our feet. The geosphere is the foundation that life depends on. Plants anchor in the soil, animals create burrows, and organisms use the minerals and nutrients found in the rocks. What happens when there are depressions or low spots in the geosphere? They tend to fill with water, which brings us to the hydrosphere. The hydrosphere includes not only the oceans, lakes, and rivers, but also the underground water reservoirs and even the water vapor in the atmosphere. Water is essential for life. It's a habitat for many species, a resource that living organisms need to survive, and it shapes the land itself through processes like erosion and weathering. Above us is the atmosphere, the layer of gases that surrounds Earth. It protects us from harmful solar radiation, regulates temperature, and provides oxygen for us to breathe. It also plays a key role in the water cycle, moving moisture from one part of the world to another as rain and snow. What's amazing is how connected these spheres are. For example, when rain falls from the atmosphere onto the geosphere, it nourishes plants, provides drinking water, and shapes the landscape through erosion. That same water flows through rivers and streams into the oceans of the hydrosphere, creating habitats for countless species. None of the spheres of Earth would function the way they do without their interactions with the other spheres. As we arrived at our last unit in this course, the biosphere, we began to explore how the spheres interact. We considered how environmental conditions of the three abiotic spheres would impact life in a specific region, and how the species living there have adapted to thrive in these conditions. Let's see what you've learned so far. Do you think you could identify the biome that a specific adaptation would be found in? Give this one a try. This animal has an intricate network of grooves on its skin that allow it to collect moisture from dew and rain. It can also absorb water from damp sand directly through its skin. Where would such an adaptation be useful? Pause the video and make a prediction. Did you guess desert? That's right. The thorny desert lizard can be found in the deserts of Australia. Let's try another one. These larvae feed on the needles of conifer trees during winter. Their life cycle is synchronized with the changing seasonal availability of resources, so that they feed on the tree needles during the harsh winter months, then emerge as fully formed moths when the temperatures warm in the spring. Where would an adaptation so heavily tied to the seasons likely exist? Pause and make a prediction. Did you guess boreal forest? That's right. The spruce budworm has figured out how to navigate the challenges of changing seasonal conditions by aligning its life cycle to work with these changes instead of against them. In your guided notes, you'll find several more examples like this that you can use to practice and review each of the biomes. Be sure to give these a try before taking the assessment. As we wrap up this course, you've gained a deeper understanding of Earth's incredible systems: the geosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. You've seen how all of these spheres are interconnected and essential for supporting life. But there's one more important part of this picture: us, humans. Every day, human activities impact these spheres, often in negative ways. We extract resources from the geosphere, we pollute water in the hydrosphere, we alter the atmosphere with our factories, and we shape the biosphere by changing ecosystems and habitats. Sometimes these impacts cause harm, such as deforestation, pollution, and climate change. But here's the thing: they don't have to. We have the power to make positive changes. Sustainable practices like renewable energy, conservation, and ecosystem restoration can reduce our negative impact and even help repair damage that's already been done. The key is understanding our role in these systems and finding ways to live in harmony with the Earth, not against it. If you found this course interesting, you're in for something even more exciting next time. Our second environmental science course will dive into how humans are affecting the planet and what we can do to create a sustainable future. I hope you'll join me on this next adventure. We'll explore real-world problems and solutions, things like climate change, renewable energy, and sustainable agriculture. It's a chance to take what you've learned about Earth's systems and apply it to the biggest challenge of all: protecting our planet for generations to come. So, as we look toward the future, remember that you have the ability to make a difference. By learning about the environment and how to protect it, you're already taking the first step. I've enjoyed our journey together in this environmental science course and hope you'll consider continuing your journey with the next course. As you finish your work here and prepare to take the end-of-course assessment, be sure that you have also completed your Biosphere lab. By now, you should have finished collecting data and be ready to write your conclusion. Hopefully, all of the things you have learned in this course will help you finish strong. Until we meet again, remember, the environment is all around us, so keep exploring its wonders. Stay curious, keep asking questions, and be a force for positive change in the world.
Hey, hey.